Hey guys, we're going to look at Kris Vallotton today and him being a dreamer of dreams. But even if we, I believe this was this Paul? It's either Paul or Peter. But even if we or an angel out of heaven should preach a gospel to you contrary to what we proclaimed to you, let him be accursed. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge, I also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of God, I will also forget thy children. So if you've thrown out the law of Torah, you're not inside God's priesthood in any way, shape, or form, God's going to reject you.
In the dream, I had a dream. And 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 in the dream, there was a bird in my hand. It was a cardinal. And I said, go, go, go. And finally I'm like, go. And it flew around and it came back. And then I heard, you can't give away what I gave you. This is not yours to give away. This is not yours. You are a steward of what's mine, and you will steward it until I tell you you're done. And he said to me, I gave you a race to run and a fight to finish, and you haven't finished either. So stop telling me what you'll do. I'll tell you what you'll do.
Do you understand? Kris is having an argument with God. Kris is standing up to God, and God is saying, you're going to do what I say. Like Kris is a man God. You guys know about that new movie coming out? These guys think that Jesus was a man who ascended to godhood. The whole cult is a Freemasonic, Luciferian, New Age cult, and they follow the workers of light, the light bringers. Satan disguises himself as a worker of light or an angel of light. These guys are... Hold on.
And when I say you're done, you're done. Take the bird and go. Okay?
See that hand sign that he's doing right there? I haven't figured out if that is something that he's doing because he's insecure, because he's figuring out that people are catching on to the fact that he's a schizophrenic and that he's lying, or if this is a Masonic hand sign that I haven't been able to figure out yet. He's been doing it for the last couple of years. He wasn't doing it in original videos back in the day.
I had a dream. And in the dream, there was a bird in my hand.
And that prophet or that dreamer of dreams shall be put to death, because he has spoken to turn you away from the Lord your God, which brought you out of the land of Egypt and redeemed you out of the house of bondage, to thrust thee out of the way which the Lord thy God commanded thee to walk. Let's back up a little bit. Let's have this in context. So, right here, Kris Vallotton is the prophet or dreamer of dreams. Let's go back a little bit so that we can get this, move this thing down. Let's go back a little bit more. I think a little bit more. Okay, so this cult, this Freemasonic cult, brought all of these nations into our town, and they've been told that God gave them our town. So this says, when the Lord your God cuts off before you the nations you are entering to dispossess, and you drive them out and live in their land. So they came into our land and they started trying to take us over. Be careful not to be enslaved by their ways after they have been destroyed before you. Do not inquire about their gods, asking, how do these nations serve their gods? I will do likewise. So Bethel is practicing the Kabbalah. That is the foundation of all the Freemason teachings, and it is the doctrine of the fallen angels. So that is, how do these nations serve their gods? I will do likewise. That's why we can see all the Freemason fingerprints inside the New Apostolic Reformation, is because they will do likewise, and we can see their fingerprints using semiotics, reading the Bible and seeing where it's saying the exact opposite of what they're trying to brainwash you into thinking it's saying. Okay, next verse. You must not worship the Lord your God in this way. Bethel is doing fire tunnels. They're doing grave soaking. They're doing the Enneagram. When Kris Vallotton says that God is male and female, that's Kabbalah. That's Adam Cadmon. We have videos on every single one of these topics because we know that they're Freemasons. We know how to reconcile who they are. We can discern by reading scriptures when it says that have you never read the scriptures? It's the builders, the Freemasons, who have rejected Jesus as the cornerstone. Jesus said that while he was inside the outer court, and the outer court of Freemasonry is the first 3 degrees of Freemasonry. All of the stuff that Satan did is a copy of what Yeshua HaMashiach, what Jesus the Messiah did. Satan made a copy. It is Freemasonry, it is Luciferianism, and it is inside Bethel. That's who they are. So, you must not worship the Lord your God in this way, because they practice for their gods every abomination which the Lord hates. They even burn their sons and daughters in the fires as sacrifices to their gods. Deuteronomy 18 starts off the list of abominations, the things that Yeshua hates, the things that God hates. That's the list of abominations. It says it's an abomination, don't do it. That whole list is things that Bethelites are doing because their leadership is tricking them into thinking they're using Christian terminology and dressing it up. They're taking everything that the Bible says don't do it, and they're doing it and charging you to do it. See that you do everything I command you to do, not add to it or subtract from it. So, hold on one second. So let's go back to this again. But even if we or an angel from heaven should preach a gospel contrary to the one we preach to you, let him be under a curse. So if you're not going to read the Bible to your congregation out loud, and you're going to make them listen to your made-up words about God and about your experiences, you are cursed. Confused,
My very favorite drink.
What's one of your
favorite trinkets in this office? Okay, I'm going to tell you my very favorite trinket. So these are things from all over the world. For example, this watch right here was given to me by a Russian general, and this right here was given to me by the cardinal of Baja California, a Catholic cardinal. Wow. And I said, "Go." I had a dream, and in the dream, there was a bird in my hand. It was a cardinal. Okay, I'm going to tell you my very favorite trinket. So these are things from all over the world. For example, this watch right here was given to me by a Russian general, and this right here was given to me by the cardinal of Baja California, a Catholic cardinal.
So Kris, his cousin Kevin, who's passed away now, used to run our missions trips in Baja California, down in San Vicente and Rosarita Beach. So, Kris, we love your family, dude. But you still are a schizophrenic, and you have no business being in charge of anybody. You belong in prison for murder, but we still love your family. Catholic cardinal having a dream about cardinals. He lets go of the cardinal. The cardinal comes back to him. He's trying to interpret his dream, but there's a Catholic cardinal in Baja, and he just put out these couple of videos within like 1 or 2 days of each other, a couple of days of each other. Otherwise, I wouldn't have seen them together and connected what he's doing. So go watch the top video that says Kris Vallotton is a schizophrenic. Go watch the video about Bill Johnson and how he says that his sleep paralysis is what started Bethel's movement. Then go and watch Kris Vallotton Dream Life School. It will show you the symbolism, satanic symbolism that Kris is using while he's trying to trick you into thinking that you're Christian for listening to him talk about his dreams. If you want to call yourself a Christian, you have to follow the teachings of Christ, and Christ's words are inside the Bible. They're not inside Kris's head. I think there are only a couple of marbles left inside of Kris's head, and we're praying that God will give him back some of his marbles. Okay, so trying to keep this video short, I only need to be able to get the part recorded where it says that the Pope is calling Kris a prophet.
Ecumenical movement, connecting all believers of all faith. We spent about 2 hours asking him questions and whatever was on our hearts. His opening comments blessed me. He said, "We must invite the prophets back into the church and welcome them with open arms." I thought it was interesting that this was his opening comment. Of course, many of the pastors looked over and smiled at me. Wow, the arrogance. So all these other deceived pastors looked over at Kris because, of course, he's a prophet, a real prophet.
Okay, so I'll go and get the link for Kris Vallotton and the Pope and put it inside the show and the video description. So let's go back to Deuteronomy 13:1. If a prophet or a dreamer of dreams arises among you and proclaims a sign or a wonder to you, and if the sign or wonder he has spoken to you comes true, comes about, but he says, let us follow other gods which you have not known. That would be any gods that are contrary to the faith of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. If the sign or wonder he has spoken to you comes about, but he says, let us follow other gods which you have not known, let us worship them. One verse further back. If a prophet or a dreamer of dreams arises among you and proclaims a sign or a wonder to you, and if that sign or wonder he has spoken to you comes true, comes about, but he says, let us follow other gods which you have not known, and let us worship them, which is what Bethel is doing, teaching you the Kabbalah, is teaching you the doctrine of the fallen angels, including Kris Vallotton, teaching you Adam Kadmon Kabbalah and everything else. Come on. I got to get this to sink in. I have to say it more than one time sometimes. You must not listen to the words of that prophet or dreamer of dreams, for the Lord your God is testing you to find out whether you love him with all of your heart and with all of your soul. Are you going to follow Kris's made-up babbling from Babylon, his vain imagination, his funny stories have now taken the place of the faith of Yeshua HaMashiach? Don't listen to the dreamer of dreams or the prophet. He's a false prophet. He is a self-proclaimed prophet. So for the people coming out of this deception that think that Sunday worship is something that's inside the Bible, this is the moment paganism mixed with Christianity. You need to go to Truth Unedited, look for, just go into videos, and it's probably 15 or 20 videos down, I would guess. You're going to find this one that says the moment paganism mixed with Christianity. It's all about how the Catholic Church is Babylon. Kris and Bethel and everybody else, they're schizophrenics because they're practicing Freemasonry. The Freemasons are practicing Kabbalah. Kabbalah is the doctrine of the fallen angels. Kris is being possessed. He is channeling. He is a new age prophet for the Antichrist. And he's trying to make Redding look like the Antichrist wants stuff to look in the end times. Post-millennial theology. We're supposed to take over the world and give it to Jesus on a silver platter. Ain't scriptural, guys. The word alone, in context of the people who are living it and walking it out. Next to Yeshua. I mean, he's the one that even passed between the two pieces when God said that he wanted Abraham to be able to give him a heifer. Wait, was it a heifer or two heifers? A goat or two goat? I don't remember. I know there were two doves and something else, but he cut those sacrifices in half and then caused Abram to go to sleep, and then passed between the pieces as the fire. Jesus was creating a covenant with Abraham at that spot. Jesus passed between the sacrifice in the satanic sacrifice of making the children pass between the fire. That is a dedication of the children into the Babylonian system of thought. And that's why Bethel is making them pass between the fire, because scripture says, don't cause your children to pass between the fire. Please go watch Bethel Fire Tunnel Explained. All right, guys. I hope you guys have a blessed day. I'm going to go get some yard work done. Love ya.